Hello everybody, Saigan Cat here with more of the Warframe walkthrough. The spy mission method for finding Xmas has worked. We're gonna jump into the Mercury Junction now. Works real well. I was averaging like 2 of them each time, so I only had to run Unda twice. Let's go knock out this junction and hit up Mercury, the first rock from the sun. We're going to use the same come out swinging strategy. Like so. If you're Volt, you can paralyze them with your first ability. If you're Mag, you can just knock them down with your first ability and then go ham on them with your melee weapons or whatever you feel like. Hey, streamline. Nice. It's a flawed streamline, but whatever. Now,
you have new quests.
Quests are available. There's a couple of different ways you can start quests. We also have Boltor Blueprint. I wonder if we can make that. Really prefer using Boltor over a Bratton. Boom! So there's a couple of different ways you can start on quests. If the quests... majority of the time, they're just going to show up here in your quest menu, but... you can also start in on them from your codex, which is right here. And the codex is super, super useful. In addition to showing you what quest prerequisites there are and giving you hints on things, this is also where you can go to just start them up. And sometimes you'll actually need to come in here to start it. Like, I want to say you need to come in here and specifically do the Glassed Gambit, because it's not a requirement for anything. You have to come in here and choose to do the Glassed Gambit. You can go out there and clear every single node without knowing about this if you don't check your codex. In addition, you can go over into the universe area and get information about all sorts of stuff. It's a great place to find out where to find different mods. They're all in here. They are all in here. So say we want a proper serration, which we do. Serration is a fantastic one. We can simply search for serration. And it'll give us information on where we can find it. And there's numerous drop sources that are already unlocked for it. A lot of them are going to be undiscovered. Most of these are not terribly useful to us, but scorpions are useful to us. And apparently it also shows up in a number of missions on Earth, including Cambria. So we can go looking for scorpions, which are that the Grenier unit, the women with the hookshot things that can knock you over. Or we can go to Earth if we wanted to go hunting for this serration. I'm not going to bother because I know we'll probably wind up with one of these in the future anyways. But it is funny that this mod is just so good and so important, and yet early game, it's kind of a pain in the ass to get a hold of. You can also go in here for training, which has lots of useful information for you. Information that I am trying to provide to you, but information that may not necessarily be provided by the game. For example, here, if you want to know how damage works, there's a little walkthrough on damage types, what they do, etc., etc. So if you want information that I haven't gotten to yet in the guides, check the codex. Check training. Mission types. These are all of the different mission types in the game, and this is the rules for each of these mission types. Worth to check out sometimes. Some of them may not be immediately obvious, like hijack. Before going into a hijack mission, you might want to read up on how a hijack works, or how hive sabotage works, or how interception works. Interception is, this is the one that I see going wrong a lot for new Warframe players. And once we find an interception mission, we'll cover it as best we can. I don't like doing interception early on. It's another one of those mission types like Spy, where it can go really well with a good group and really badly with a bad group. Let's take a look at what Mercury needs from us. We're probably going to be required. Oh, wait, no, So, hey, we have our first relay. This is a good opportunity. We'll check out the Lorunda relay, but also, I forgot, there's no junction leaving Mercury. So what we actually want to take a look at is the Mars junction. And that's going to require us to complete Once Awake, which is this quest here. It's our next major story quest. We're going to save Howl of the Kubro, because we can't actually get our Kubro until we're able to go to the Void. But Once Awake, we can tackle. And then we also need to do Suisei on Mercury. So we can just make a direct run to get to Suisei. So we'll go through Pantheon. Relays. Relays are one of the first real hubs that you can go to. There's a couple of different hubs where you'll see a lot of other players. Relays, Cetus, when it comes out for console, Fortuna on Venus. And relays, in particular, these major relays, are where you can join a faction. And we'll cover that today as well. Out here you have the hangar. You don't have to come back to the hangar to leave. If you want to leave, you can just go into your options menu and go to Leave Lorunda Relay. Also, if you get lost easily, you can fast travel, and you can pick different specific places to go to for fast traveling. But I am going to show you the grand tour on foot, as there's a couple of little things that I want to talk to you about. In the main area, there's two things to keep an eye out for. And they both have something to do with each other. Barokatir is a trader, a void trader, who will show up on the weekends. He shows up at different relays. So the more relays you have access to, the more likelihood you're going to be able to go see Barokatir. He always shows up on this platform right here. He works in a special form of currency called Orokin ducats. You can get ducats by coming over to one of these ducat kiosks. I think there's one on the other side too. There is. And you get ducats by selling primed parts and primed blueprints that you obtain from doing rifts and opening up relics. We'll get to that in a later video. Also, on the first floor of the relay, you will find all of the different primary factions. In here, we have New Loka, the Space Hippies. And which faction you want to join doesn't matter too much. You can change factions later, but it is good to pick one faction and stick with it and get a ton of their stuff before you change factions. Which faction you start working for also determines which factions like you less. And the less a faction likes you, the more likely they are to send their hit squads after you. New Loka is an awful, awful faction to be enemies with, and unfortunately, that's who we're going to wind up fighting with, because I'm going to be taking Steel Meridian first. They hate Steel Meridian. We can't even talk to her until we're Mastery Rank 3. But if you look around, there will be somebody who lets you join the faction. Turn in... Oh, we can't do this because we don't have Mastery Rank. You need to be Mastery Rank 3 to join a faction. Boo. Regardless, here's where New Loka is. This is the Perrin sequence, which is a group of corpus who have decided to give up the capitalist values of the corpus. The corpus themselves are a merchant cult, going so far as to turn capitalism into a religion. And here we have the Red Veil, who we will learn a lot about during one of their quest lines later, the Chains of Harrow. All of them have like their own quest lines where you actually learn a bit about them. The Titania quest line will cover New Loka, and those quest lines wind up getting you access to different Warframes too. So if you want Titania, you can probably do New Loka, because they'll also have her augment mods. Perrin sequence, we'll have the Glass Gambit later. These wackos, the Red Veil, will do Chains of Harrow. We're going to come all the way across to the opposite side. Here's Steel Meridian, who's my favorite. Actually, don't remember what Warframe in particular you can get from them, if you even can get one. But I like them because they have Rhino augments. They also have access to the Vacor Heck, which is my favorite shotgun in the game. It's an improved version of the Heck, which you probably heard me talk about earlier. Here is Cephalon Suda. She's a peach. I adore her. And then over here we have the Arbiters of Hexus, who I actually don't know too much about. They recently got their own mission type arbitrations. Moving out of this ring, you can see there's, whoops, map. There we go. Okay, so the minus button on the Switch brings up the map. You have this ring with the 6 different factions, and then if you come out here, we have mission control. So you can actually go to your nav panel and select missions from the hub. You also don't necessarily have to go back to your lander for a lot of stuff. You can access your equipment menu from your main menu. You can go into your arsenal, you can go into your inventory, you can deal with your mods. I think the only thing that you can't do from your menu in these hubs is crafting. Over here is the Conclave, which is PvP stuff, which I have not really done. So I can't tell you much about it. Maybe one day I'll do PvP. Now, let's go upstairs. That's the wrong elevator. This is the up elevator. There's a couple of things of interest up here. One is Darvo.
Ah, Tenno. You got my message?
And Darvo will have daily real money deals. If you've got platinum burning a hole in your pocket and you don't feel like doing the grind to make a weapon, check in with Darvo daily, and he will occasionally be selling the different weapons you want. There's also going to be weekly quests that we will be able to do with Darvo later on. but not quite yet. Over here is Cephalon Cimeris. And he's good for a couple of things. He has no understanding of personal boundaries. You can do Sanctuary Onslaught here, which is how you get Korra. He has his own shop that we'll have access to later. And this is also where you can go for mastery testing. Even though you can do mastery tests out of your main menu on your ship, if you want to practice for them first, you can come here. So before we do the Mastery Rank 3 test, we might decide to come here and practice it a few times, because you only get one real attempt per day. And then once you know the test and you know you can do it, then you can do the test proper. And then I think that's it. I don't believe there's anything else. It's also important to note that there are special bosses and events that can cause these relays to be destroyed. And then later on, there's also events to repair and rebuild them, which is kind of cool. I like it. Then I think that's it. I'm pretty sure that's it. We're going to go ahead and head back to our landing craft. Let's check and see what the Boltor needs. I think this is going to be the first video I do where we don't actually do any missions. Just did that junction.
Tenno, your codex has been updated with a new quest.
I know. Boltor! We can totally make a Boltor. Let's make our Boltor. Oh, it's going to use some of our Neurodes. That's fine. That's fine. I'm totally excited about it. We don't have to build the Furus right away because we can buy a Lotto with just straight up credits. We're going to wait until we hit Mastery Rank 30 on our weapons before we replace them, because I am going to sell all of these afterwards, because there's just straight up better versions of them. The Mark 1 stuff, I see no reason to hold on to any of these. Okay. I believe that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Next time, we'll begin working on our Mars junction. Take care. See you all next time.